Hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is Laura, and I like to craft stuff. I went to a quilting show in April, and I got a few things, but for this video, I got these two fabric packs. They're exactly the same because it has 5 fat quarters. So my plan is I want to use these, and then I also pulled this fabric and this fabric because I think they'll go with the 2 fabric packs. Within the fabric pack there is this one white fabric, and I am going to group that as the same as this fabric because there's only one white in each pack, and that's going to make sense because I'm using this book, Encyclopedia of Pieced Quilt Patterns by Barbara Brackman. I want to go actually to the same page that I was working for the last video, but this time I want to do this pattern right here, which is called Road to California. So my plan is I'm going to have the white be on the inside, so those will just be the squares, and then the teal will be the outside, and then the half square triangles will be the rest of the fabrics. I could do, I guess, the half square triangles with the white. I just don't know that these two together look good because this would be the half square triangle as well. I don't know, maybe they do. I think I like my other plan better. So that is the plan. We're probably going to go with the same sizing, 4-inch squares with 10-inch squares cut out for the half square triangles, and then trimming them down. So let's get started. I just want to say thank you for joining me in another video. I generally try to post every other Tuesday. Sometimes it can be every third Tuesday, depending on my schedule. But yeah, if you want to join me on future videos or, you know, whatever, like or subscribe, all that good stuff. I am obsessed with these fabric packs. I think they were on sale because I swear the ticket price was less than what it actually says on the bundle. They were from Starlight Quilts, just so that everybody knows. So I'm doing 4-inch squares here with the white fabric, and then the white fabric with pink and yellow flowers. I'm also considering quote-unquote white. So they'll be in the center of the block, basically. I really like having 4-inch blocks, just so everybody knows. So here I am. I first cut them into strips, and then I cut them down to size. My cutting surface is a little wobbly because I don't think it affects the cutting too much if I'm paying attention to it. Here I am cutting the 10-inch squares, which somebody suggested putting another ruler on the bottom of it. I don't think they mean like this. I think it was more of a stability thing, but I wound up using it like this, and it worked out pretty well if I had it lined up properly. But I did 10-inch strips and then 10-inch squares. But I am cutting on an ironing board because I haven't had the money to get something as tall or foldable for doing this, and I am 5'7", so my back has issues sometimes. And this isn't even as tall as it really needs to be. I need to get bed risers maybe, but that's another story. So what I have learned to do with these 10-inch squares is if you sew corner to corner on either side of a line, you can actually get a whole bunch of half square triangles when you cut them up, which I'm adoring this. Thank you, Mardi. That's Mardi's suggestion. it's definitely, I feel like, a time saver. But basically, I draw a line because I like having the line drawn from corner to corner, and then I sew on either side of that in both directions. And then you'll be able to cut it up so that you can get 8 half square triangles. So I don't know if my intro was clear, but the teal is going to be one half of the half square triangle, and then the fabric pack is going to be the other half. And I feel like that's going to really bring out the different fabrics. So here it is. I've sewn on either side of the lines. And so first I'm going to cut them in half, not by the corners, but rather in the center, in both directions. And then I cut them down the line that I've drawn. For me, that's easier. I suppose it doesn't really matter if you're doing all the cuts, but I find it easier to make sure they're all even. I recently got myself a new ironing board cover. There were some suggestions on how to make my own, but I didn't feel like it. So this one's cool because it's reversible, but I'm not sponsored, so it's very exciting though. So for some reason I managed to miss out grabbing footage of me trimming down my half square triangles. So when I've ironed them open as the previous clip, they are larger than 4 inches. They're probably closer to like 4.5 inches. And so I trim them all the way around to make them even. And then here is the layout that I'm doing. So I always lay the full block out because I'm afraid I'm going to mess it up if I don't. And then usually I'll do 2 rows together and chain piece, and then do the other row. I will say about halfway through this quilt and with some of the blocks, I was starting to get concerned about my color placements. But sometimes you just have to trust the process. It's actually like all art. Usually halfway through, it can look really ugly. But hold out because the end result I'm obsessed with. It's giving me very 60s mod and almost a little bit into 70s. And I love it. I love that aesthetic. I will always be drawn to those kind of colors. And I think that I was really worried about the center flower white fabric. I was a little worried that that wasn't going to read white, but it does. So, yeah, I'm very, very excited. I like this block a lot. And there are, I mean, a couple of different ways you could lay it out. I decided to do this kind of, I don't know what you would call this, pattern. It kind of looks like a lattice in my opinion, especially in the later results. But I basically like to do 4s. So I sew 2 together in one direction and then sew them again in another direction. And I feel like this gives me the best chance at a clean layout. And then I iron in between each of those stages. I wound up with 4 of the smaller block that were the same color extra, and then 8 of like the variety. I tried to do 1 of each of the fabrics in the final layout. And so I wound up with 9 with the all in one color. So I put that one in the center for my layout. And this is what it finally looks like. I adore this quilt. I did accidentally mess up my layout, and I think it was because I laid it out and then I took a nap and the cats played with it. But I actually kind of like it. It really, I don't know, from far away, I adore it. It gives me very much mod 60 vibes, and I'm obsessed. So I would highly recommend either this pattern or even these colors. I think they work really well together, actually. So, yeah. Thank you for joining me in another video, and I will see you in the next one. Like I said, I try to post every other Tuesday, so fingers crossed. I just got a hit of inspiration making this video, so I'm actually really excited about the next one, if I have the time.